The State of Ohio Board of Pharmacy presents the Ohio Automated RX Reporting System. In our previous video, we learned how to run a report in OARRS. In this video, we will learn how to read a patient report in OARRS. To understand the details that make up an OARRS patient RX history report, look at the first page of the report. To the upper right, you will find the date and time the report was generated. Next, you will see the search criteria that you entered to generate the report. Ohio law only permits OARRS to keep the patient data for 3 years. The report will only contain 3 years from the date the report was generated. Below the search criteria, you will find a list of the patients matching the search criteria. OARRS collects patient demographic information, such as the patient's name, date of birth, or address and telephone number. However, OARRS does not collect a unique patient identifier, such as a social security number or a driver's license number. Sophisticated technology links the prescription information collected based on the demographic information. Because there is no unique patient identifier, there is a very slight chance that patients with very similar information will appear on the same report. This most frequently happens with twins who live together and share a phone number. When there are multiple patients on one report, call OARRS and the patients will be separated. To the right of the patient information is the Active Cumulative Morphine Equivalent, or Acne score. The Acne score gives you an instant snapshot of the patient's current intake of opioid drugs based on a common apples-to-apples conversion. We'll discuss how this score is calculated, as well as the various pieces of information which make up the score as we continue. Next on the OARRS report is a wide graph that shows what the Acne was on each individual date included in the search criteria. This will give a big picture overview of the Acne value over time. A relatively flat line is indicative of a steady use of the same strength or regimen of the opioid over time, such as a 30-day supply of medication being dispensed every 30 days. A sharp spike in the middle of an otherwise flat graph may suggest an early refill. A line that resembles a constant zigzag may be indicative of several visits to emergency rooms for small supply of medications being dispensed every few days. Next, we will find the prescription detail. OARRS only collects information for controlled substance prescriptions, so no information regarding prescriptions for non-controlled medications is currently collected. The columns from left to right are the fill date, the product name, the strength and form, the quantity dispensed, the day's supply, the patient identifier, the prescriber identifier, the date written, the prescription number, the morphine equivalent dose, MED, of this prescription if it is an opioid, the active indicator, the pharmacy identifier, and the payment source. Interstate reports will show from which state the data is pulled. The patient identifier matches the number in the patient information box to identify which prescriptions belong to which patient in the case where 2 patients appear in the same report. All active prescriptions appear in bold. It is very important to note the day's supply is calculated by the pharmacy based on the SIG, or the instructions provided by the prescriber. If the instructions include ranges, such as take 1 to 2 tablets twice per day as needed, the day's supply will likely be calculated using the largest daily dose, or fastest rate of consumption. In this case, it would be 4 tablets per day. This might mean that the patient is actually taking less of the drug than the daily supply would indicate. A prescription is considered active as long as the report was run between the date filled and the expected number of days' supply. The next column shows the MED per day if the prescription is for an opioid. The sum of all MEDs of an active prescription on the report make up the Acne number on the front page of the report. Once again, the active flag, the MED, and the Acne score all depend on the day's supply. If the day's supply does not reflect the patient's actual rate of consumption, each of these values may be inaccurate. Remember, an OARRS report is not evidence. Always verify information with the dispensing pharmacy prior to taking any action based on the information on the report. After the completion of the prescription detail, you will find the key to the various symbols and codes shown on the report. This includes some additional information for various items and the definitions of payment source values. On the right, you will find the number of prescriptions listed on the report. Depending on the number of prescriptions received during the report date range, the prescription listing may continue on 1 to 2 more pages. Next is the prescriber information. Here you will find the name and address of each prescriber. The bold value on the left can be matched to the prescriber identifier in the prescription detail. Please keep in mind, the pharmacy only reports the DEA number of the prescriber to OARRS. It is from this DEA number that the OARRS gets prescriber address. If the pharmacy has an incorrect DEA number for a prescriber on file, the wrong prescriber will appear on the report. Below the prescriber information is the pharmacy information. The bold value to the left matches the pharmacy identifiers. Here, the name, address, and telephone number of the dispensing pharmacy appear. Again, only the DEA number of the pharmacy is reported to OARRS. Please note, at the bottom of each page is a disclaimer. The information contained in the report is not warranted to be accurate or complete. Contact the dispensing pharmacy if a correction needs to be made to a prescription. This is the last page of the OARRS report. At the top, we have a table that shows the morphine equivalent conversion factors recommended by the CDC for the various opioid drugs. Next, we will show you the full calculation of the Acne score, including each of the values involved in the calculation. Should you wish to change the calculation based on other information you have, you can click the link for the OARRS MED calculator. The calculator will be pre-populated with values found on the OARRS report. Here you can make adjustments to the values, remove prescriptions, or add prescriptions, and the Acne score will adjust. Adjusting the values here does not affect the data in the OARRS or Acne score based on the OARRS report. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and learn more about OARRS. If you have any questions, please contact us.